Top left, our blue Zerg player from Team Liquid. Give it up if you're cheering on Elazer. Up against the red Protoss player in the bottom right-hand corner from the Shopify Rebellion. This is Harstem, a qualifying match for this HomeStory Cup 21. This is the second of 3 European qualifiers, so... And this is upper bracket as well, so if you lose here, you get that lower bracket qualifying match. So, and then even if you lose that, right, you've got the next qualifier as well, although I'm sure these guys would love to not have to go to qualifier number 3 and have all the pressure on them this time next week. And yeah, just to explain, a couple of people asking, everyone must qualify for HomeStory Cup. The only invites are the 2 Katowice finalists, which are Cyril and Raynor. So those 2 players are invited into HomeStory Cup. Everybody else must qualify. All of the Koreans must qualify. All of the Europeans must qualify. There's an NA qualifier later on tonight as well, by the way. That's in, yeah, like 5.5 hours from now. Like, why is it just so late? Like, you know, when I imagined doing the NA qualifier, I really didn't realize it started, like, oh, is it 2 a.m. CST? I don't know if it's 1 a.m. my time or 1 a.m. European time, so midnight my time, but, like, it's just late. I think it's 1 a.m. my time, because I was like, geez, that's really late. So, yeah. Basically, that's all I got to say, though. It's that's the setup. That's what this is for. Everyone's got to qualify, and HomeStory Cup does happen. If you're not aware, in July, it's the second last weekend of July. So it's like the 23rd, the days around the Thursday through Sunday around the 23rd or so. So you guys are aware, mark your calendars, make sure you've got the weekend off, because you wouldn't want to miss a HomeStory Cup. And if you can make it there, freaking go, guys. Like, HomeStory Cup is always so much fun. You do not have an experience like HomeStory Cup anywhere else. Like, usually, HomeStory Cup is like a, like, usually when you go to a StarCraft event, like, 95% of it is sitting there and watching the games, and then every now and then you might run into a player, or you might be able to, like, you know, see someone and say hi for a second. HomeStory Cup is, like, 50% of the time you get to hang out with players and watch stuff and, like, talk to them about things and play table football with them and all that kind of stuff. It's just a completely different experience. Like, I would always advise, if you can make it to one StarCraft 2 event in your life, I would always say go to a HomeStory Cup. Over a Katowice, over BlizzCon. BlizzCon maybe if you're, like, a big Blizzard nerd in general, but BlizzCon doesn't exist anymore, so whatever. But, like, generally, like, HomeStory Cup is, like, the tournament to go to if you want a unforgettable StarCraft experience, for sure. The casters get to qualify. Yeah, actually, I qualified from hours casted. I'm actually not... They said, well, Wardy, you're not the best caster, but you've actually just casted so much at this point, you just naturally qualify. It's like Hero Marine in the ESL Open Cups, right? this is not really a fun kind of thing, but you guys know Hero Marine just has so many, like, ESL points from Open Cups, you can basically qualify to Katowice on those alone. That's me with casting. Like, I just cast so much, I naturally get enough caster points to attend. No, I'm actually excited because this HomeStory Cup is the first time I'm ever actually invited as a caster. Like, I've always just bought my own way to HomeStory Cup, or sometimes crowdfunded it on stream and stuff, and just kind of had fun and just gone for the, you know, the thrill of it and stuff. But no, this time I'm actually invited as a caster. So how exciting is that, guys? I was saying this earlier, you know, I've done the Katowices, I've done all the rest of it. HomeStory Cup is there's the one I hadn't done, so, you know, leaving the big boys till last, you know. Leaving the big boys till last. I did a stay-at-home story cup once, though. But I literally, I mean, when I say I did one, I think they paid for my flight? Did they pay for my flight? No, I think they let me sleep up... Did they pay for my hotel? I had to pay for at least my hotel or my flight. I had to pay for one of them. I'm pretty sure I paid my own way there, and it was literally a case of I just crowdfunded going. And then I just went for free because, I don't know, it sounded like fun, I guess, but... yeah, I don't know. These links will get a little wraparound on this Nexus, and this is going to be some pressure from Elazer, but Oracle is still alive here from Harstem, so he is going to be able to push this back. Jeez, I'm following, like, Special Elazer's camera, and they're not watching anything, so let me do some Wardy observing for y'all. Yeah, the Oracle are going to keep track of these links, and that's important. It's why you want this Oracle. It's why when we say, oh my god, they lost the Oracle, that's huge. it is huge in this stage of the game, because that would have potentially been a cancelled Nexus. Now, there was a lot of Stalkers around, and this is a lot of Stalkers. We only build one Oracle before going into them all, so that's pretty notable as well, right? Because a lot of the time we're seeing 2, 3 Oracles before going into the entire Stalker count lately. So this is a little bit quicker into it. Definitely interesting as we've got ourselves the feelings still just moving around, and these Stalkers backed up for a second, going to get back on the map. Typically, the reason that you have 2 or 3 Oracles is because an Oracle or 2 right now would just stop these Lings surrounding the Stalkers, because then the Oracle can help fight the Stalkers, but or help fight the Lings with the Stalkers, and you can see right now these Stalkers are in trouble, no? I think their best bet is they blink somewhere and they recall, and yeah. This is why only 1 Oracle is kind of funky. Now, he actually didn't have too bad a time there. He somehow only lost 1 Stalker, which is pretty impressive, because they looked freaking doomed right there. They looked absolutely doomed, but turns out to be okay. Wow, genuinely impressed. The Oracle showed up last second and provided a little bit of aid, but not sure that really made a huge difference all said and done. As these few Zerglings are going to go moving down the bottom right side and see if they can slip a run by into one of these bases, perhaps. Stalkers just blink up again, though, very quick and very determined, knowing what they want to do, pushing these Lings away, not messing around. Got a couple extra Stalkers just off to the side, and they are going to be supported by this Oracle. They do have the blink back to defend, and we are ramping up the pressure. We're getting the extra units out, the charge and +1s coming through. Elazer only on 69 drones and is building into a lot of roaches, plus the upgrades for his own future in this game. Bane speed, roach speed, melee upgrade. Specifically, the drone count right now feels perhaps a little low. You see no saturation on this 4th base right here. So if this continued, this would be problematic. This would be scary. But I feel like this 4th has just gone online, and maybe droning is just the next step as soon as he feels safe here. So let's give it a moment and then kind of maybe read what Elazer wants to do. It's possible Liz just tries to bust off this 68-ish worker count and just says, cool, let's go. Let's just go and freaking kill whatever I can. Let's just go and attack. All my speed upgrades are going to be finishing. My +1 melee will be there. Harstem now has got extra Oracles, by the way. He's actually continuing to build more. I think because he sees it's so Ling heavy, building extra Oracles is a really good aid, because there's not really a good way to then use the Lings in the fights at all. So it's kind of an extension of what I was talking about earlier, where now you're actually using these Oracles proactively to just kind of control the map against the Lings and to shut down run-bys. So we'll take a 5th Nexus top right side. Now, that's not the usual position for 5th base. It's not the usual position for 5th base in the freaking slightest, actually. It's kind of out there, you know? It's tough to get up there to defend. And by the way, these Lings just keep dying. 50 Lings almost going down so far this game, and it's pretty much all due to these Oracles, so it's been kind of a wild time in that regard, as you have a group of units still sat out over this side, and Harstem has to be careful. Elazer, he still hasn't drones since I started talking about it. It looks like he is going to commit through to this aggression. The Oracle's activating, taking off whatever banelings they can. The Stalkers are trying to run back and try and block the mineral line. He actually blinked back a bunch of the Stalkers to avoid all of the splash, but I don't think he was really ready to take this fight. He's got so many Oracles overhead that are just trying to do whatever they can, but this entire Nexus is just going to get busted, and I mean, it feels like Harstem probably just wasn't ready for an attack of this magnitude. You can see the Stalkers weren't quite in position. He was desperately scrambling back to try and be in location. And yeah, these few Lings getting up here going to try and grab us around on the Stalker. And just going to see the Ling Roach Ravager moving into this mineral line, going after all of these probes. I mean, this is just a continuation, and this really just blew up out of nowhere, and it's kind of the deadly part of Curious Minds. Small attacks arrive quickly once stolen it. I didn't even do them the service of remembering who I stole it off of. So, yeah, I guess that's negative caster points for me. Top right-hand side, it is going to be the blue Zerg player from Team Liquid. This is Elazer. Up 1-0 in the best of 5. As in the bottom left-hand side, our red Protoss player from the Shopify Rebellion. Let's see if we can bounce back. It is Harstem. Oh, you know what the best thing is about this game, guys? Indy's here. Oh, ho, ho. Is that my favorite observer to steal a camera of? Oh, yes, it is. You guys complain about the observer now. Just know you're targeting my boy Indy, and I will be there to fight for him if I gotta be. So, you guys better watch yourselves. Twitch chat. Got my eye on you. Harstem maybe also was just very actually passive with the Stalkers this game. Like, initially he was on the map and he was almost in trouble, then he got them out with that recall. But then they were never really, like, up in the face of the Zerg again. And a lot of the time with these Stalkers, what we see is a lot more kind of activity, pushing forward, staying on the map, right, consistently, just being out there, being aggressive, trading all of the time. If that doesn't really happen, and that's kind of bad, right? Like, and it did feel like Harstem was, like, kind of, like, in the middle of the map, but never really across the map, I suppose. You know, he was never really, like, poking a base. He was never really forcing a lot of trade outs, because if he was, I feel like he might have been a bit more aware of the fact that also Elazer was not really putting any drones on that fourth. He just had oracles in the bottom left picking off those lings, and that was kind of about it, so yeah, maybe a little bit of a mistake there. Well, like I say, let's see how he adjusts in this next game. Harstem right now is regarded as one of the best PvZers apparently in Europe, because I mean, that's what Scarlet said, if I'm not mistaken, to, so I think Scarlet said that to Steadfast or something, or in a Twitch chat somewhere. But I mean, honestly, he's been playing great lately, Harstem, and it wouldn't really surprise me to kind of look at him like that. Especially this matchup, he's had matches where he's looked very, very convincing, so really cool to kind of see Harstem peaking again a little bit. You know, I know it's always like, year of Harstem, but like, this one kind of is a little bit of a year of Harstem. He's having a fantastic time. Very exciting to see, especially because I know so many of you love to cheer him on. I mean, he just bullies me, so yeah, I couldn't care less if he wins or not, although I would like him to be at HomeStory Cup. That would be fun. But no, it's very fun to... I mean, he's a very fun player to cheer on, right? Because he's such a personality. I mean, can you imagine a HomeStory Cup without Harstem? You guys think they'd just fly him out there anyway? I feel like they would. That'd be crazy, right? Where's the Colossus with that amount of Zerglings? Colossus is just expensive to get into, man. Like, going Colossus is... I mean, you could go Colossus, but the thing is, Colossus doesn't deal a damage fast enough against the swarm of, like, Roach Bane. Like, against the Lings, sure, but the Roach Bane's just gonna get forward. The Colossi are gonna, like, half-kill a couple Banelings and stuff, and then you just get busted, and you're gonna be on, what, like, 2 Colossi? If he was... I wouldn't have minded if Harstem was on Colossi that game, because I didn't feel like he was pressuring much with the Stalkers, but I think the idea is if you're not pressuring with the Stalkers and you're going Colossi, then generally that's bad anyway, because the Zerg just gets to do a bit more of what they want. They build up quickly, then they swarm you. So yeah, Colossi I think is something you have to usually approach much later in the PvZ, because if you go for it too soon, it can really backfire, basically, in my eyes. It can really backfire. It's just going to get turned around. That next is coming through, and just going to be having ourselves a Twilight Council building on the side of Harstem and a Forge. So, once again, going probably in toward Blink Stalkers here, if I had to make a guess. Those 2 Oracles coming towards the upper right side, keeping an eye on things for the moment, and yeah, just seeing what they can do as the Evo Chamber does go down. A couple of extra Queens coming through and putting some more damage out onto these Oracles. Just pushing those away. With a couple of drones having gone down, we're going to have a Merge drone continue to build up from Elazer, and, well, this game is pretty passive. I mean, obviously you got the Oracles on the map and a couple of units going down, but not really any major shifts or anything to talk about. Obviously, this game he goes 2 Oracles before he really makes that transition into Stalkers. Last time it was 1 Oracle, and then he transitioned back into Oracles further down the line, so a bit of a different approach this time. Maybe size of the map has something to do with that as well. You know, Curious Minds being so small, maybe he felt like with just 1 Oracle he'd be fine, because the Stalkers would always be able to run out of trouble if needed. It's possible this map being a bit large, if the Stalkers want to be aggressive, they really do need like a backup plan. They really do need like a proper way out. Still kind of amazed he only lost 1 Stalker in that first game where he got like that full surround went off and he ended up blinking away, recalling. I honestly thought that was going to be... I mean, more than 1 Stalker. I don't know. I don't even know if I want to put a number on it, but more than 1, I think, is a pretty fair, you know, guesstimate of what should have maybe gone down there. That was genuinely a little bit crazy. Harstem steals my lunch money. He doesn't steal my lunch money. He steals my Twitch primes. No, he's just, you know, he thinks he's cool and he just says mean things about me every now and then. It's okay. I've learned to realize that actually just a sign of love. He just doesn't want to admit his love for me, which is fine. So he just says silly mean things, and you know, we laugh it off. And deep down, I think we're really good friends. Deep down, really deep. I'm really digging right now. I've already broken like 5 different spades trying to get deep enough, but we'll get there. We'll get there. Obviously Stalker's coming on the map, and this is some of the aggression that I feel like we didn't see as much of after a certain point in that first game. So the Stalker's kind of getting off to the other side and going to start picking away at a couple of these queens. And like I said, just start trading out a little bit. You've got those blink backwards. We're going to start warping in some Zealots. I think that's on the defense against those Lings that are currently countering. Into the 4th base they go. Yeah, that's definitely going to be a little bit of a weak spot. Definitely somewhere to jump on a little bit extra there as the Stalkers continue to blink on through, and those Lings get chased on out of there. Bye-bye. See you later. Extra few gates just going down, and well, probes just currently stuck a little bit. So quite a few probes to counterattack, but this is one of those styles where you can kind of afford to lose probes because you're kind of building so many so early anyway. That's still not ideal, of course, as Harstem will be moving on the map again. Now, 15 meters on the way up. Let's see what Harstem's preparation is against these Mutalisks. The problem is you're playing a lot of Stalkers, but they don't mean anything if the Mutas get around those Stalkers, start running around your base as silly. Because before your Stalkers even get to fight the Mutas, you're already going to have taken a lot of damage that puts you in a bad spot. He's going to see the Mutas now, so he knows about them. The Mutas are looking for a fight here. That's got to be scary for Harstem. These Mutas are running forward for a fight. Yeah, he knows he's in some trouble, and he's just going to blink down to the low ground. I think the Mutas can fight the Stalkers can fight the Mutas. It's just the Stalkers can't deal with the Lings at the same time as that, and that is the big issue. And now the Mutas arrive in the main. Harstem is going to start building Phoenix. I mean, it's a serious amount of Mutas. So I think Phoenix production is a very valuable thing to commit into here. This is not one of those situations where it's just a handful of Mutas. They're going to try and switch out of it after. No, this is a pretty serious commitment, as we're going to see the Lings trying to swarm here. Well, Harstem has the battery here. He's got some Zealots warped in to protect against the Lings. You're going to see those Stalkers continue to fight this, and oh, those force fields so close to trapping a lot of Lings in. Harstem is surviving, and, you know, his supply might be a bit low, but remember that Elazer is basically massing cheap units here. Okay, the Mutas aren't super cheap, but a lot of the Lings are cheap, right? They're just a mineral dump, and again, he's not doing this off a crazy high work account. 72 drones, and Harstem rebuilding the probes in a good manner, and he's actually at the Phoenix going to really start chipping through some of these final Mutas, so doing a very good job of this right now, and let's see if we can keep on doing enough as our Lings continue through. The Mutas, are they starting to be a little bit too much here, or can Harstem really control this? I mean, he's defending on multiple fronts, which is obviously very tough to do, and you got to keep track of all these fights. You can see Elazer going to try and completely swing things to the left-hand side instead, so ignore the right side and try and punish Harstem for maybe having so many units split up across different positions defending. Well, the Muta's going to start being a little bit too much here. Harstem just warped in extra Stalkers to try and maintain his Stalker count against these Mutas. A lot of the Lings really starting to get through as well, feeling like it's starting to be a little bit troubling for Harstem, but let's see. He's back over on the right-hand side. Supplies about 50, 60-ish in the lead for Elazer at the moment. Harstem blinks back over to the left as Elazer just keeps on swarming with Mutaling. I mean, Harstem could just die for a couple of Archons, right? Like, a couple of Archons. Splash against the Mutas, brilliant. Splash against the Lings, amazing. Yeah, it would be really incredible if you could just get some up, but of course, that's the tough part of this. He doesn't really have the money to expend on just like, oh yeah, I'm just going to add some Archons on, because he doesn't have a Temple Archives yet, because he was playing Mass Zealot Stalker. The Temple Archives isn't a part of that just, you know, before this started up. Harstem has survived this wave of aggression, and Elazer's going to slow it down. Even start up a few drones, so really slowing it down, enough to get extra workers on the way out. Pretty notable. Obviously, that means even more Mutas coming through as well, though. Harstem, though, what this does mean is he's got time to get static defense rolling. Well, I thought he might have time to get static defense rolling. I'm not correct there. The main base is already in some trouble. He's got some Zealots counterattacking, though, and that actually might be a neat little something to work with here as well. This could be kind of cool. Stalker's coming through, chasing those mutas away. Well, that battery's going to go down. It's just so tough to deal with a muta count this high with only Stalkers. I feel like he gave up on building the extra Phoenix because he just felt like he couldn't really justify affording it or keep affording it. I don't think the Stargate got taken down at all, but yeah. It's just rough, isn't it? I mean, it feels like right now he's kind of stuck, and 23 probes just went down. I mean, all you can really do here is just keep on defending and hoping eventually he's going to be able to make this work. His extra Stalker's going to blink to the low ground. That's the right call because the mutas are all diving in on this, so it's the exact right place you want to be with the Stalkers. Just will there be enough of them? I do not think there will be. I think this is going to be a bit too much. I think this is going to be Elazer picking up a 2-0 lead in this best of 5. And Harstem just getting swarmed by Mutalings. So 2 different games, 2 very aggressive attacks from Elazer. Kind of cutting around the 70 drone marker to, in the bottom right corner, Blue Zerg here from Team Liquid is indeed Elazer. Top left, our red Protoss from the Shopify Rebellion. Harstem. Cool part of best of 5. And get more games. Chance of a comeback? Honestly, I think possible. I think a couple of adjustments and Harstem can be doing fine. We'll see what he wants to do this time around, though. See what sort of approach he's going to bring to the table. As we start up, Corona boosting out some probies. Kind of excited. I mean, I think Harstem is a very smart player as well, and kind of knows how to adapt across a series too, right? Can probably say, right, you know, he keeps hitting me with different things, but kind of earlier attacks. And is that something I can do to adapt to that? Is that just a case of, you know, scouting a little bit better? You know, is there something I need to be just more cautious of, you know, from start to finish? I feel like this game definitely he was unaware of the mutas, right? The first time he saw them, they were kind of dive bombing his Stalkers, and when you see mutas dive bombing your Stalkers, it's like, oh geez, like, that's how good you're feeling about this? You're like, you're gonna fight my Stalkers? And yeah, of course he was, because, well, the Stalkers were there with the mutas were there with the Lings, so the Stalkers immediately had to start backing away, and then it was already kind of scrambling together a defense in that moment, and if you just have that information to start prepping that a little bit sooner, the difference that can make is obviously huge, so excited to see, again, what adjustments we make, what we try and do to scout a bit better with, and all that kind of stuff. I guess if you don't use the Oracles to kind of harass with as well, because you're using them to protect the Stalkers, you don't get into the base as much as you maybe usually would want to also, so I also imagine that's a little bit of a factor here. Stargate will begin in the main base, so just getting that established and having our Nexus finishing up on the natural. So Nexus is about to finish on through. Sept is coming up, and our Warp Gate building on the Cybercore. I'm just going to push that creep out a little bit. Yeah, and Stalker Warp Gate, everything as expected. There is our Oracle coming through to get us set here as well, so making a play into that already. Seeing the Stalker coming out the front, I'm going to go pinging along that Overlord right now. It's just pushing that towards the center. Again, Link Speed coming along, Twilight Council building up. Stalker is going to give a pretty good go at trying to take this OV down, and with the Oracle provided vision, it will be possible. I had to turn the Oracle around for a second. I was going to say that Oracle's off and away. Not going to have enough vision at all there if the Oracle just leaves, but that was adjusted, and he does get that kill, so actually a nice little quick Overlord to get rid of, and just a little advantage there for Harstem in the early stages. Third base coming down from Harstem. I mean, not too surprising on that one. Also not too surprising to see our Blink. Everything is kind of looking as it's looked before. Very similar to what we've been seeing previously. Oracle gets through and does start to pick up a few of these initial drones, so some starting damage being dealt here. Not a bad start as we are able to, again, chip away through some of those. The more drones you get rid of, the better a time we're going to end up having for the most part. So, let's take note of that as we do see the fuelings back towards the upper left-hand side. The blink is going to be finishing shortly, and we are just going to be seeing the... we are going to be seeing this Oracle coming back in, but dying. I also may be distracted like I am by what the hell is happening in Twitch chat. I have no idea what's going on in Twitch chat, but I hope you guys are having the wildest time, and slowly good luck with that one. That's wild. Ocean Man, take me by the hand, lead me to the land that you understand. Ocean Man, the voyage to the corner of the globe is a real trip. Ocean Man, the crust of a tan man, imbibed by the sand, soaking up the thirst of the land. Wow. Is that a homage to Harstem because he's the captain? Or I have no idea what I just read, but it's just everywhere in Twitch chat. I could not read it. Healing's getting through. Not good to be losing some probes, and these Stalkers are going to die as well. Stalkers on the map are in some trouble. This is the issue with losing the Oracle. You don't have that support defensively, offensively, just wherever it is, it can help so much. So critical to keep the Oracle alive, and again, dead early in the game is a big, big issue. Big, big issue. Dark Shrine, Forge building up. Harstem gonna switch it up a little bit. DT is definitely not something we've been expecting to see this early on in the game, but might just be a case of saying, well, look, I'm kind of in a bit of trouble. Maybe DT's going to be a bit of a surprise factor, show up when you're not expecting them to, get in and just really deal some damage. So let's see if that's something that can work out or not, as we do have Stalker's doing a cool couple of moves, blinking around to try and block and catch Lings. And some good value here. Killing an Overlord as well. It's just kind of out on the map. Don't think he should have been that far forward at the very least. Let's trying to come back around the left, but not going to find too much. We are going to be seeing a group of units on the top side from Elazer, ready to strike from the right. See how he can do with that as the single Stalker coming through there. This is going to keep kind of moving on by. And, yeah. Just going to drop a couple shots off onto a Zergling. So, a bit of damage being done. As our Stalker's continuing back around. This can't be past us 5 years old. Oh, honestly, I'm too much of a Twitch boomer to understand all of this stuff. I can't keep up with memes at all. The memes have outdated me. Oh well. It's a command in Harstem's channel. Oh well. Why would I be watching that dumb stream? Duh. Actually, when I watch Harstem's stream, I actually do not read Twitch chat. Actually, I don't really read Twitch chat when I watch a lot of Twitch streams, because I actually just... I'm very much like a background noise watcher, you know? It's always on my other monitor while I do things, so... Yeah, I guess thanks for educating me, I suppose. Alright, the Stalker's down the bottom, and this is a big push from Harstem. Copy passes or not, as he's going to start blinking back. Ling's getting a little bit of a catch on this, and well, drones going down elsewhere at least. So we are going to see DTs showing up, and oh my god, the preparation for DTs is non-existent. There's no spores, there's no overseers, and the first DT finds 11 kills. And now there's a DT in the natural. Now there is a spore crawl in the natural, but it's going to still require some units to come across and deal with. And now the Stalkers have gotten in to kill this 5th hatchery. So Harstem's getting a lot done. This introduction of DTs has worked wonders. And this DT here is just swiping Ling after Ling. Finally goes down. The Queen got involved too, realizing, oh, I can actually shoot past the problem, which is that the DT is in a choke point. My Lings aren't able to do well there. Well, yeah, you can actually shoot past the problem. You can be the solution queen, and you were. 18 drones dead, though, and Elazer's economy suddenly in shambles. Harstem might just need to focus on defending for a moment. Elazer's not re-droning. This is something Harstem will struggle to identify because he has no way of really scouting, because he does not have, you know, hallucinations. He does not have the Oracle because it died early. He needs to recognize that Elazer is very committed. I love this Archon. It's on a mission to target fire Banes. He doesn't quite get the next shot off. This next Archon shows up and might be able to do okay, though, as the Lings are going to start streaming over there. The Bane's coming in over here. Harstem splitting his Stalkers up with the Blinks. He's going to get overrun a little bit on this left-hand side, and the Banes are keeping his main army back from getting there to support, but the Super Battery keeping a cannon alive a good long time. Might just buy him the time that he needs. We're out of Balins here as Elazer, and I think Harstem's going to be able to clean this up, because now this is going to turn into a surround for Harstem. His reinforcements come from the upper left. His units were already on the map on the bottom right. Yeah, and he is doing okay. I mean, Ling's reinforcing as well, though, going to cause some issues on Harstem's side of things. Can Elazer keep up the momentum? Can he continue to bust through this? I don't think so. It looks as though Harstem will clean this up, turn this around, and get a win on the board. Harstem going to get one for himself and put himself in a strong spot here. Faster out loud, and the next thing I know, I'm just talking nonsense. Top right-hand side still has himself match and qualifying point here. It is the blue Zerg player, Elazer. In the bottom left-hand side, our red Protoss player from the Shopify Rebellion is Harstem. Thanks for joining us, everybody. I appreciate the love today. We're almost at 3,000 viewers. It's kind of wild, although obviously I know Roddy's not live today, and that's a big part of why we're probably doing so hot on the viewership. But thanks for dropping by, hanging out, and appreciate seeing you all, guys. Hells yeah. What do you guys think going into a map for now, Harstem? I love the switch up with the DTs, completely caught Elazer off guard, and it's really cool because you do that once, and now Elazer just has to be very noteful about the potential of DTs in the future. So Elazer was being very greedy. One Spore, not a single Overseer. And it's greed like that that's obviously going to make, massing units of, 70 workers even more powerful. So all of a sudden, you're like, this is actually kind of cool, right? There's certainly some potential in this. So, kind of excited to see what happens now that Elazer can't maybe cut all the corners he's maybe been cutting throughout. We'll see. Thanks for doing the ads at a good time. You guys are very welcome. I mean, that is literally what we always try to do, doing the ads between the games. At the moment, they might overlap the start of the games a little bit. And that's only because in events like this, I don't have control over the players to be like, wait a second, please. I'd rather just let them get started, and you guys can join like a minute or so in. You don't really miss anything. Maybe the odd 12 pool. And then you can be like, oh, the Lings are moving across the map. They built a 12 pool. That's still all that really happened, What's with the lame-ass copy-pasta today? Mate, I'm too much of a boomer to tell anything. If you've got Twitch chat-related questions, you need to talk to our local expert, Slowly Falling. Maybe I've got the command here.
Have you heard of Twitch Prime?
No,
you can support
that's
the stream
the sellout
right
one.
now with Twitch Prime.
No.
Don't forget to
Slowly,
also stream,
broke it.
To me on YouTube, give me money on Patreon, donate directly, and cheer in the chat. And don't forget to gift all those subs so we can hit that level 5 hype train.
Can't stop it once it starts. This one.
Are you upset with the stream?
Here you go.
Please contact Slowly Falling, our local moderator in the chat. She will help you with all your needs.
There you go. And in this case, not just upset with the stream, but if you have questions about copy pastas, she will also have your answers. Adept is running around a little bit. He's going to shade backwards and going to be just popping back over here as we get ourselves Adept pulling back down to the bottom side of the map. Oracle going to be popping out. Please don't lose the Oracle early game. I want to see a good game, right? And to me, a good game is one where the Oracle gets to stay alive. He won the last one with losing the Oracle, but I do think there's a lot to be said about keeping the Oracles alive. We're going to have a second Oracle this time, too, so something else to make note of. See our Nexus going down on the third base. Oracle is really just chilling around here, and Harstem gets that third base up nice and early, as we've usually been seeing. And with the second Oracle complete, we go third Oracle. I believe this is the first time he's gone 3 Oracles before the Twilight Council and Forge and stuff, so a little bit different of an approach this time around. Double Oracle is making its way toward the upper right-hand side, so making its way up here. A couple Queens putting some damage out. Oracle is taking a few shots already. Double Oracle's just in the center, just going to be coming back down the bottom, and obviously again trying to keep up a little bit of vision, a little bit of an idea of what's up. Again, I feel like one of the biggest things Harstem's missed out on has been some of the just scouting, and Triple Oracle should help with that a bit because they can be a bit more divey throughout the game. Just going to try and focus on getting rid of some creep spread here as well, which is pretty cool. Take some of this early control away from Elazer as well. The upgrade continues through from Elazer. Extra extractors are on the way, and the hatchery building up also. This is going to be seeing our Stalkers, our Oracles continuing through the middle of the map, heading up towards the top side. It's going to drop a little Revelation in there and pick away at some of this creep spread, so working our way through that. The Stalkers will get rid of that Overlord as well, so taking that down. I like this for Harstem. Just feels like he's getting, a fair amount done. Gets the drone that's trying to become a 5th hatchery, for example. And yeah, this game just feels like good map control with the Oracles and everything. These feelings are going to try and counterattack by. Let's see what they can get up to as they go journeying across the map. Let's see if they can be successful. We're going to find probably a 4th base cancel here. The Oracles are on the map with the Stalkers, so yeah, that is going to be a slowdown on Harstem's 4th. The Ling's fairly successful, but how many Lings does it cost you? Because they've got to run around corners here to get away as well, which means they're kind of trapped, and these Oracles are going to chase. Now, Harstem, while he's chasing here, is using up energy, so he's not deactivated the Oracle attack, and that means he's consistently using, like I say, the energy on the Oracles, which means that they are going to be much more drained than they would have been. Now, they do get every single Zergling, but I like that from Elazer, because he made that as difficult or as costly as possible from his opponent, basically. I'm just going to see the Oracles immediately go back across the map, having a little bit of a check-in over here, but they don't last very long. They turn around pretty swiftly, so backing away from that. Feeling's trying to attack at the front, not going to do all too hot. And just going to get turned around as well, so can push back on that front. So yeah, Spire coming up, our Balin Nest about to finish, plus 2 melee is already underway. Let's see if this Spire can make a difference. Elazer has 1600 gas banked, by the way, like seriously. It's kind of crazy. It's kind of cool though as well, because he's been scaring Harstem into staying back with all of the Zergling pressure, right? So he's been scaring Harstem into staying back and staying out of the way. And in doing that, and scaring him off, himself in this kind of cool position where now Harstem is not being kind of as active. He's not being able to punish the fact that Elazer has been banking up 1600 gas, which is obviously a ridiculous amount. So that charge coming online, just going to see the +2 attack coming through as well. And we do have a good chunk more Lings and Mutas still in production here, so we'll continue to bring those numbers up, continue to get those in. We do have a few more Banes warping in on this right side here. Mutas are going to take a turn. They're going to try and go after some of these Oracles, and, well, the Oracles know at least Harstem. He already has 3 Phoenix, so he is somewhat aware. And this is big because last time the Mutas really just got out of hand. The Phoenix being in good numbers really stopped the Mutas from getting out of hand. They're really good in that, so that's got to be one of the major positives right now. So now Mutas moving down this bottom side, and here are the Phoenix to greet them straight away. And like I say, the Mutas now maybe need to think about how they're going to turn around and hit these Phoenix. But they're not really in a great position to turn around and hit the Phoenix either. So not looking too hot right here. Not looking great right now. The Phoenix is going to continue after those mutas. I mean, again, there's got to be a moment you got to be careful, and if you go too far, the mutas will turn around, and now it's a little bit of a Phoenix versus muta micro war. Harstem, as he gets a couple of Phoenix low, realizes maybe time to pull back just a little bit towards the, towards the base here and work on that a little bit more. Just get those Phoenix healed up and just play defense, but this is way more controlled for Harstem than it's been previously, and Elazer is, got a bruised up set of Mutalisks that are not getting any healthier because these, Phoenix are staying on them. And Harstem is going to have a chance to start Storm, so moving into Storm, we'll see if he can make that work for him. All these Banelings are going to get caught. Harstem sees them coming. All these Archons are going to have a great time, and they find very minimal damage. But over here, the probes are being caught. So they are going to be, caught off guard, and they're going after some of these High Templar. 25 probes go down. We do cancel the 5th base on the left side as well, so we are able to get damage done over there. Definitely making a pretty sizable and notable difference. Ling's still coming through, actually looking for the High Templars right now, as the High Templars have to morph into Archons. Well, not the end of the world, but obviously we are trying to save some energy up so we can have Storm available ASAP. Again, Elazer killed a lot of probes. Harstem already had a lot of probes, though. So the fact he's already had a lot of probes kind of means that he's not too bad on economy coming out of this at all. In fact, he's looking rather okay still. I think he's going to be alright, because Elazer used a lot of units up in these attacks, and his supply is really struggling forward. And I mean, these are the last few mutas. They're going to try and just dive bomb the Oracles, I suppose, but the Phoenix are there to shut them down. That's looking really good for Harstem. Moving across the map, Stalker Archon, again, it's basically just Ling Bane and nothing more. And these few Banes are going to try and sneak their way in around the sides here. The Archons are going to hold very strong against these Lings. Elazer supply continues to plummet. Harstem, despite all those worker losses, still on 76 probes, still a great economy. And as he warps in reinforcements directly into the fight, the Queens are basically the only thing left here. Not ideal, as Zealots will be huge. Just get up in the front and tank. I mean, Elazer basically has no units in production even. We do have the Prism taking a couple shots. We do have some Phoenix that actually going to show up and just lift some Queens out of the battle, make life a bit easier. But as Archons show up as well, we are going to go to a Game 5. Qualifying match, going the distance. Harstem bringing it back from 0-2 and showing us he can. I just had the scoreboard all sorts of wrongs. In the bottom left-hand side from Team Liquid, the blue Zerg player, this is Elazer. Taking on the red Protoss player in the top right-hand corner from the Shopify Rebellion, Harstem. Alright, we get to go the distance. I mean, excited. I see the chat excited. That gets me excited. And I can't wait to see if Harstem can get it done. If I don't cheer against Elazer or anything, it's just, like I say, it's very easy to cheer for Harstem. See if he can get it done. Like I say, he's been playing great lately. Definitely seemingly deserving of qualifying through. Has been looking pretty good in all of the events he's been playing in. And of course, I mean, how could you not want Harstem at HomeStory Cup? I'm very confident he's going to make it through, even if he doesn't win this matchup. But obviously, this is just, like I said, it just makes your life easier, right? You don't have to worry about all those other qualifiers. You don't have to worry about staying up later tonight and playing that lower bracket qualifying best of 5 either. It's just done right here and now. The momentum is in Harstem's court. It is moving in his direction, and Elazer needs to find a way back into this. Harstem did a great job when he was, just lost 2 in a row and he was down 0-2. He really switched things up. All of a sudden, he's like, hey, DTs, boom. And it just changed everything, right? DTs really switched the momentum of this entire series, it feels like so far. Elazer kind of needs his DT moment right now. He needs his moment to say, right, this is it. What am I going to do that's different, that's maybe going to catch you off, and just break you from kind of, being in that comfort zone? Harstem's also been a lot more prepared the last couple of games. He's had the scouting being very good for himself. He's been knowledgeable about what Elazer's building into. He seems to know when Elazer's going to be very aggressive. So that's definitely been a big aid, especially in that last game. The Triple Oracle seemed to provide a lot of info, a lot of positional, availability on the map. Hell yeah. Stargate opening, no surprises. Going to play the same again, and obviously some amount of oracles into Blink Stalkers, I would imagine. It's the style that's good right now. Elazer has again been mixing up with his own kind of different bits and pieces, you know, kind of playing a couple different things every now and again. Different kinds of aggression, though. I mean, Elazer's never really played for the super long game, and it's hard to do against this Blink style. But, yeah, a lot of this has just been consistently saying, hey, look, let's go into repeatedly this same kind of army. Again and again, and just go from there and see what we can do. We'll see what happens as we have this game 5 develop and see what Elazer does if he wants to try and maybe be, like I say, a little bit less on the aggressive side, maybe just a bit more defensive and trying to tech up later into the game. If that's an approach you can maybe take. I mean, we've seen Lambo against this style sometimes try and play into the lurkers and so on, so there's definitely possibilities. There's definitely ways to approach this and to do well with it, so we'll see what happens. Oh, a Phoenix is a little bit of a different approach from Harstem, so he's going to change it up a little bit himself. An Oracle into Phoenix. Okay, he cancels the Phoenix. I was going to say, that's a real big change up. I mean, Oracle Phoenix as well. Usually you only build one Phoenix. It just kind of, you know, pings away at an Overlord or so, clears it out. Oh, second Stargate, though, so it probably is still Phoenix, yeah. If he's going to build a second Stargate down, he's going to play double Stargate Phoenix. That definitely is a way to approach this. Alright, a little bit different from Harstem, no doubt, but I'm kind of down for it, you know? He's going to get a lot of Phoenix up, he's going to be very aggressive with those early, really try and find a lot of value with them. The Overlord of Elazer is very far away from being able to scout this, so Harstem should be able to get to 6 to 8 Phoenix without being seen. Typically, you will stack to 6 Phoenix, and that's when you reveal them onto the map. As this Oracle comes through, gets multiple drone kills already, so already a great start with the Oracle. And you know, because Elazer's been not really building as many spores, I wonder if that's just a way for the Phoenix to kind of get in and just do a lot of damage early without having to worry too much. Very possible. Would be very cool. Like I say, hide these Phoenix until you get about 6 or so, then you're going to run them across the map. The more of a surprise they are, the better time you're going to have, simply for the fact that they're going to show up, there's not going to be as much preparation, units are going to be out of position, Phoenix can cause absolute chaos, so yeah. And Elazer is just so blind. And it's not like Phoenix are going to suddenly show up and do game-ending damage. But they can 100%, you know, the better, you know, more damage you do with them, the better position you get into for the mid-game transition. And you know, that's the real kind of power. If you can just get in and do like, if you can do like 2,000 resources lost of damage without losing anything, you're going to be feeling pretty darn good about it. Big map, Glitter and Ashes too. Could be that Harstem looks to go into like a faster set of carriers behind this as well, so the double Stargate kind of play as the opening and the build allows him to set up into carriers as a transition more easily. It's the kind of map you can just do this on as Elazer. He's got so much gas in the bank, starts melee upgrade. I'm very afraid that he's about to build a Spire. If you do build Spire here, you can go Corruptors, and the cool thing about that is you can have the Corruptors to kind of come through and protect, eventually going into Mutas, and it kind of becomes a bit of a weird dynamic, so let's see. The Lings have backed away, so the Phoenix on the map without being seen. This is going to be Elazer's first sighting of the Phoenix. Now he knows they are on the way. If you notice, he's not doing anything about it just yet, it would seem. Maybe gathering his queens together. The Phoenix going to show up. First Overlord starting to go down. Elazer had a lot of OVs, so that's not a big issue. But look at all these queens that are somewhat on their own. The other queens showing up. Does Harstem have enough to really just fight this? He loses the lift on that front queen. He will relift it. He's killed one queen so far, and he's lost 2 Phoenix. That was not it. I feel like he really believed he had a jump there where he was going to be able to like knock down a bunch of queens and maybe just kind of spiral this game out of control. But yeah, he lost 2 Phoenix. He killed only 1 queen. That wasn't it. It was only 1 queen, right? Yeah, 3 Phoenix dead. Okay, all the hype about hiding these Phoenix and all the rest of it kind of disappearing a little bit because this was not a great successful start. I mean, again, without Spore Crawls or anything set up, you imagine this could be huge damage. Elazer just about got his queens together, and I think, honestly, on the top side, it was not a bad idea. It's when the queens came in from the south, Harstem should have been trying to adapt his plan right then and there. And instead, it seemed like he was still like, oh, no, I'm going to get some queen kills here. And don't get me wrong, if you start getting queen kills, this game does spiral out of control, because then you're killing the one unit that's actually good against the Phoenix right now. Elazer has the money to start, like I say, Spire finishing, probably building Corruptors. It sounds crazy, but you get the Corruptors up, they can kind of buffer against the Phoenix, they can limit what the Phoenix can do. And that's a pretty important part of this. The Phoenix will still come through for damage, but Elazer's realizing, well, if you're building Phoenix, I can just drone like crazy. He had over 90 drones there, and he's going to drone up again already as well. So already building into more of those drones, just making sure his economy is extremely strong. That said, because Elazer's stacking money, right now Harstem has a supply lead. I just don't think he's got an army to come across the map and use that supply lead, but if Elazer continues to just not build anything, now he decides to build some roaches. I think he's been deciding exactly what he wants to do, figuring out exactly what sort of army he wants to build here, and I mean, right now, 9 roaches ain't a lot. He's got a lot of lava, he starts a hive. I feel like he's unsure. Like, he has an infestation pit, he's got the spire. Now he's going to start up an extra round of Zerglings, in fact, so he is going to start changing this up a bit as we move back onto the map here. Zealot's heading down the bottom side. The hive on the way in. Here comes Harstem. This is actually a really good time for Harstem to attack because Elazer only has Ling Roach. And against 5 Archons, like, Ling Roach isn't a lot. I actually think this is a great time for Harstem to get aggressive because Elazer was, again, just unsure about what to build for a long time as well. So that's definitely going to be impactful. Now Elazer, though, is going to get a lot more roaches on the way before Harstem attacks. I understand that maybe didn't feel like the moment to go. For most, it might seem kind of cool, because, again, we've known Elazer's not been sure about what to build this entire time, but understandable that Harstem was a little bit more kind of, you know, cautious about what to do. Zealot Archon's going to come moving up this ramp and start chipping away at things, but not much to really be done there. A few drones have gone down, a little bit of Zealot harass elsewhere. The good news is that Harstem's going to get into like a strong, later game army composition. So he's not really on like a weak army or anything here. So that's kind of like a benefit right now. So that's kind of cool at least. Adrenal Glands is starting up, so bringing that into play. And that's obviously Elazer also looking towards the Ultra Cavern. But Harstem's going to have Storm. We've seen Storm a lot today in PvZ. And oh, those Banelings are going to do the slow waddle of doom towards the, well, I was going to say towards the base, but, well, they get found, and there's an Archon and just an Oracle chasing things down right here, so having a pretty good time at the moment. Zealots and Archon's going to push down this ramp. A few of those roaches already in some trouble, and now we've got roaches trying to counterattack through. The extra Zealots warping in here are massive. Plug the wall, don't let them in. And this is a lot of roaches dying for very little gain from Elazer. Harstem going to have a pretty good cleanup on that. He's going to have other roaches coming around this side. He does actually find these Archons that were chasing those Banes away, so those Banes were useful for something at least. Maybe not in the way you expected them to be, but something in the end nonetheless. You're actually maybe going to lose this base, but I mean, I think at the end of the day, if you lose this base, you at least say, well, I've killed a lot of roaches for it. The base should go down. I don't think there's any way to save that, but look at all the roaches that just melt. Elazer's losing a lot of supply. I think that's definitely one of Elazer's issues right here. Resources lost 3.6k in the bin in comparison to Harstem. He's had a slight income lead, but not like a huge one throughout this game. That's really nice. Ling run-bys like this are going to slow Harstem down a lot, potential for a lot of damage. Forces warp-ins back here as well, and that's huge. It's not even about getting probe kills, it's just about forcing Harstem to look elsewhere, because otherwise Harstem looks as though he might be fully sending it across the map. Ultras on the way. I mean, there's a few Immortals here to help against the Ultras, but 7 Ultras might be enough, guys. 7 Ultras, and there's already some out. Okay, is it enough Ultras, or is it too many Ultras, maybe even? I'm not sure. The funny thing is that these High Templar are actually not going to be very useful. Storms are not great in this scenario. Queen's going to transfuse up what they can. Extra Storms are available, but yeah, I don't think Harstem was expecting that many Ultras. More Immortals will begin. He even starts extra Robo facilities, accepting how much of a threat these Ultras are going to be. Oh no, drop whatever else is in there. Save the Archon. Oh, he dropped it and then he lost it, and he lost the Archon anyway. Yeah, them Ultras are catching Harstem a little bit off guard right now. He was not ready to fight this. He does have an okay army supply still, but is it enough to fight these Ultras off? Off creep at home? Maybe. He drops a Storm again as, again, just these Immortals not in good enough numbers. Feels like these High Templar might just be better off morphing into Archons, no? This base will go down once again here. The Zealots are going to go off elsewhere. I mean, 3 carriers now on the way. What a time to start building carriers. Obviously, Harstem feeling comfortable. He has to be able to defend this, though. He's going to find these Banelings morphing in and realize, okay, you're definitely coming for an attack. We are morphing one Archon in, but he must keep some amount of High Templar around to deal with these Banelings, right? He's going to need at least a couple Storms. Elazer trying to come in from a couple different sides. Oh, he's going to have the Storms on the ramp here. He's going to have one and a second one. Going to force those Banes away for a sec. Morphs the Archon in. Oracle just active overhead. We're going to warp and use to defend the natural expansion. Harstem trying to hold on right here. Trying to make this work out as we do see Elazer now going to commit through the Banes. Just going to get some of the stack defenses. The Ultras in the front line are finding all of the Immortals. The Archon's making a bit of a stand as well. The Immortal got dropped behind the Archons as a bit of a barrier. We drop another Storm down. We're going to try and pull back further. The Carriers are so close, but Carriers are going to take forever to kill Ultras as well. But the Ultras are dying, and they're expensive units from Elazer. Elazer's going to lose all of them, and he's going to build 10 more. I don't think Elazer's ready for the fact there's going to be Carriers here. But does Harstem realize that Elazer's going to build more freaking Ultras? Like, how many Robos do we have right now? None! All the Robos are dead! Oh, no wonder. All of the Robos are dead. What about Voids? What if you just build a couple Void Rays, right? Just anything to help deal with the fact that there's just a massive freaking Ultras on the way. Banes over here coming through. We're doing a good job of dealing with the Banes. I mean, probes are going down. It's inevitable you're going to lose some amount of probes when these Banelings run at mineral lines. Harstem's doing his absolute best to mitigate as much of the damage as possible at the moment. Nidus network coming up. It's going to be another problem for Harstem to try and figure out, oh, these Zealots are going to find the Ultras or be found by the Ultras. Probably the other way, probably the latter, right? The Phoenix as well, kind of a funny one. Like, they don't have much of a role to play right now. We're starting to build Corruptors against the Carriers, it seems. I just don't know if Harstem has something to deal with this round of Ultralists. We are going to fight the ones on the right side. The ones on the left are going to start busting through the door, but there's a super battery that is active. Harstem forces the ones on the right side away. The ones on the left still trying to bust on in. Zealot's doing the absolute utmost to hold the door right here, but the door has been opened. Again, on the right side, Harstem looks to be okay. It's going to be the Carrier showing up over here. +1 attack Carriers. Just these Ultras aren't taking damage. This is what I mean. These Carriers just aren't doing anything to aid in that. This is why losing those Robos was kind of huge, because actually now you don't have the Immortals that really deal damage to Ultras. Well, I mean, we're still kind of dealing with it. I mean, we're kiting backwards here. The Archons are managing to keep these Ultras down. Just going to launch more Ultras into the main base as well. Again, the Carriers are just like, well, what do we do? I guess we just spend an eternity trying to kill an Ultra. Look, this Ultra just doesn't take damage. Hello? It's like it's slowly bleeding from the smallest cut on its, like, toe. That's how slowly this Ultra is dying to the 5 Carriers. The good news is that the Ultras are still here, so the Archons can probably pick up the kills on them now. The Corruptors are going to find the Phoenix. I mean, it's not like Harstem's max and can trade the Phoenix out for different units. Nidus in the main base is going to be a problem too. I think Elazer has just made this game chaotic enough that Harstem is not really able to do anything for good here now. Running around silly. I mean, it's still funny though, because it feels like Elazer's army is so fickle. It can die so easily to what Harstem has. But he is keeping Harstem's economy away, and he's obviously starting to hit the production now as well in the main base. You got, I mean, Phoenix responding to the main. I mean, to be fair, it's probably the most useful they can be. They can't help against Ultras. They're crap against the Corruptors. He surrounded the Ultras with some Zealots. Okay, well, that's a big win for Harstem. He's going to get rid of a bunch of those. The Corruptors cannot find a way in. More Lings, Corruptors, and Ultras all in production at the moment from Elazer. Phoenix clearing out the Overseer in the back. Oh, it doesn't actually finish off the Nidus. A couple of Zealots walking away from it. Guys, you had one job. Harstem's going to push. Is there an overcommitment to Corruptors? Probably not, right? Considering the carrier count. We don't have a Great Aspire, though, so... Oh, man. The Immortal's in trouble again. He actually cancels the Immortal. He's just going to warp in units. Elazer has a lot of money to spend as well. Does he have lava? Yeah, he's got lava for days. Well, let's see how this fight goes. Archon's pushing through. We've got a couple Storms available. I mean, he's looking as though Harstem's going to at least be able to take down a base or so. He's got an army supply lead right now, but there's a lot of Banelings morph, and they don't count the army supply as they morph. So when they finish, that army supply will spring back up from Elazer. It's still fairly even on the on that counter. Storms need to come down right now from Harstem. He needs to storm. The High Templar don't do it. His High Templars are kind of surviving. Oh my god, the High Templars survive a long time there, but they're just going to go down. That's Harstem's army wiped. He needed to drop those Storms on the Banes as they came in, I feel like, but he just couldn't find the chance to. He didn't find the opportunity. That, unfortunately, was not it. GG's. Elazer is going to take the victory. It's 3-2. I mean, congrats, Elazer. Played a hell of a series right here as well. Don't want to take it away. Obviously, it's just